they act like this is just like some groundbreaking, cutting edge, technical information. Like, where's he pulling this straight out of his ass? Well, that seemed like a full-time job for sure, to keep track of all of that and do all of that every single day for 30 days.
If you want to like solve porn addiction, this isn't going to be very useful.
So you call your friend and like, hey, want to hang out tonight? But we can't do anything. You got to get out of your car, stop traffic. People are going to be like, what the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm dealing with my porn addiction.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Help Is Here podcast. Today we're going to be analysing one of Quit by Healing's videos. So in this video, he shares around 14 tips to help people stop watching porn. However, having watched this and tried a lot of these things in the past, I have a very different take to him on how to solve porn addiction. I really believe that the problem is to do with how do you make a choice in the moment of compulsive desire rather than how do you heal your brain in all these elaborate self-improvement-y kind of ways. So what we'll do on this video is kind of, talk through some of these tips that he shares, and we'll be analysing them. Why do they work? Why don't they work? Well, it'll mostly be why don't they work? But yeah, let's get into it. All right, so let's start off with the first tip, zero entertainment. Let's get into it.
You stop consuming entertainment. So that goes for Netflix, movies, shows, video games, and so on. In Spartan Mode, you are not consuming anything entertaining. That even goes for novels. You're not reading anything entertaining. Of course, reading non-fiction is recommended and is good to do even during Spartan Mode, but no consumption of entertainment.
Okay, so you call your friend and like, hey, want to hang out tonight? But we can't do anything. Don't entertain me in any way. Don't be like an interesting person. We're just gonna sit there and stare at each other in Spartan mode. Okay, that's really inane, Tom. I don't know where you find these characters.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, funny.
Oh, I've said it before, but like I run a book club here in Manchester, and we only read fiction at the minute. And if I was like to the guys in my book club, like the group of friends that I've got in there, hey guys, like I'm working on my porn addiction right now, so book club cancelled for Spartan Mode. They'd be like, what the hell's this guy on about? Like, that makes no sense. So yeah, it's not a good take once again. All right, let's get into another clip.
Yeah,
There's loads to get through, so I just kind of
this is entertainment,
Well, I mean, it's funny you say that, because I do think he has lighting. I've got to give it to him. Like, I do think his lighting, he has like a bit of orange and a bit of blue, and it's like, it's so on point. Like, his lighting is really good. I feel like his effects are good, his sound, the kind of animations and everything. It's really good. So like the videos he puts together are very well produced, and I think they are very entertaining. Because even when I was trying to clip these videos so I could put together this one, it was quite hard because of how fast he talks and how he moves from one point to another way quicker than a lot of YouTubers. So, it is like entertaining content to, listen and feel motivated about Spartan Mode.
Good lighting, I mean, maybe if that were his YouTube, how to get good lighting on your YouTube videos. That would be helpful.
Genuinely, how to create good YouTube videos, maybe how to do like self-improvement, how to eat like nutritious foods, like do all these things. Like, that's cool. Like, if you want to do that, go ahead. But if you want to like solve porn addiction, this isn't going to be very useful, because you're going to have the moment of compulsive desire where all your mind is saying is like, once won't hurt, this isn't that bad, everyone does it, it's normal, this will be the last time. And it's like, what do you do in that moment? That's the only thing that really matters when it comes to porn addiction, is how do you actually deal with the moments of compulsive desire and answer back to the addictive part of the mind.
I'm assuming the guy has a porn addiction. He's probably, probably pretty obviously stuck in a porn addiction.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I've got my life. Let's hear some more, and then before I pass judgment.
Yeah, sure. All right. Let's do another one.
Yeah, sorry. All right, stop apologizing.
2 physical training sessions every day.
Okay. Now Well, I guess you're going to have a lot more time for 2 physical training sessions every day if you don't do anything to entertain yourself. You have a
It's
little more
true.
time on your hands, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he was talking about like one in the morning and then one in the evening. And yeah, I mean, working out's a good thing, sure, but again, it's not going to deal with those thought patterns, and that's
Right.
why it's not a good strategy. And also, it is based in helplessness again, because it's this idea that we're going to like remove the urges, we're going to use up our sexual energy, as they call it, on like
Yeah.
working out, so that we're not going to have the desire. But when you realize that the desire is going on in your mind and it's certain neural pathways, that's when you look at the gym and you're like, wait, gym's good, but it's got nothing to do with my porn addiction.
Yep, exactly. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Could see another one. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's get into the next one then.
Every day you get sunlight exposure outdoors twice. Once in the morning, ideally close to sunrise. It doesn't have to be right when the sun rises, but when the sun is still at a low angle. You want to be outdoors, and whether it's good weather or bad weather, you're outdoors, you're in the sunlight. Even if it's cloudy, you're still getting sunlight. You're getting sunlight exposure for at least 15 minutes. And then later in the day, close to sunset, when the sun again is at a low angle in the evening, once again, you want to be outside getting sun exposure on your skin for about 15 minutes. Now, on a very cloudy day, if it's generally dark and cloudy, you can't see the sun at all, then ideally you are out even longer.
You know, they act like this is just like some groundbreaking, cutting edge technical information. Like, where's he pulling this straight out of his ass? I'm not kidding. It's like, well, now the sun's got to be at this particular angle, and like, can you see me, Tom? I'm gonna get up. I'm in Oregon in the morning, pissing ass rain, right? I'm gonna be out there going, okay, is the sun at the right angle? And now I'm gonna stay out here longer in the pissing rain because it's, because it's not to get enough of that sunlight exposure. And then, wherever I am, whatever I'm doing, okay, let's say you're sitting in traffic on the freeway when the sun is setting at the perfect angle, you know, you got to get out of your car, stop traffic. People are going to be like, what the hell are you doing? Oh, I'm dealing with my porn addiction. I got to just be like at the perfect angle of the sun it's just so impractical. I mean, ridiculous to begin with, but completely impractical.
Yeah.
Okay,
You,
but
you could
okay.
imagine, like, so, like, if this shit carries on, like, if people keep on just coming up with the most ridiculous, like, claims how to solve a porn addiction, you're gonna get to the
Yeah,
point
yeah.
where someone will watch this, like, go out in sunlight all day and then claim that they've solved the porn addiction, and they'll make, like, a YouTube video and it'll be like, how I escaped my porn addiction using photosynthesis, and that'll be, like, the
Yeah, right.
title.
Yeah.
And it'll get like hundreds of thousands of views, and everyone will be like, "Oh yeah, like I'm gonna photosynthesize my desires away." And it's like, what the hell
I
are you on
know.
about?
It's like
Oh god,
my neighbors are gonna send like the wellness check people because I'm standing out in the pouring rain at 5 and 6 in the morning, just like looking where the sun would be if it's, because obviously it's not going to be out in Oregon.
yeah.
Well, it
It
has
is
been
that
this
bit.
time of year.
It,
It's
it
nice
is
here,
that
but
bit where he puts his hand up and he's like, "Right, when the sun's at this angle, that's when you're gonna like hit those
yeah,
knees." You know what I mean?
yeah,
That's when you're gonna solve the porn addiction. All right, this angle here, okay, gotta be at this angle. Oh, it's
Hey,
so bad.
neighbors, don't mind me. Just got this porn addiction I'm trying to deal with
Yeah.
here.
It's crazy as well though, because I followed this guy on TikTok for a while, like way before I met you, like probably like, I
Yeah.
don't know, over 2 years ago. And I used to watch his videos and I was pretty like, oh my God, like this guy's got his shit together. I want to be more like this guy. And now looking back, I'm like, I do not want to be like this guy. Like this guy's chatting some crazy, crazy stuff for porn
Well,
addiction.
the way that they act like this is some, inside info, like it's when the sun is at this, it's like, it's kind of the way they present it, like it's actually something of value,
Yeah.
information that's valuable to anybody. It's very strange. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. All right, let's do another one. This one
Okay, let's
isn't
go.
sunlight. It's a little bit different. All right.
You avoid all artificial light after 9 p.m. Candlelight is fine, and very, very dim orange or red lights are also fine, but no typical indoor lighting, no overhead lamps, no bright lights, and most importantly, no screens.
So only candles after 9 p.m. Okay, you're going to be walking around your house tripping, whatever, you know. Okay, and I'm up till, well, now that I get up early to podcast with you, I'm usually in bed before 11 o'clock for sure. But I used to be up till like, I don't know, at least midnight, maybe 1 a.m., you know, on a regular basis, you know. And and yeah, so then from that time on, you can be burning candles for 3 hours every night. You know, that's a lot of candles for starters. And just like, yeah, that's more inane
For real,
advice.
for real.
But this is
And
entertaining. But, you know, we're probably not going to overcome our porn addictions because we're being entertained thoroughly by this
yeah,
guy. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I love a nice candle, don't get me wrong, but
Me too. I
I would
love
never think
candles.
I would never think like, "Oh, it's time to, like, turn my lights off in my flat because of my porn addiction." Like, that just
Yeah.
wouldn't ever cross my mind. Like, don't get me wrong, like, yeah, like, it would be nice to have candles in my room and it be dark, like, maybe I'll do that from time to time, but to make the connection between that and porn addiction is
Yeah.
just absurd. Like, when you understand porn addiction properly, it just makes no sense once
So you
again.
have friends over for dinner, right? Okay, so now, and they came. You have dinner at 7 and 9 o'clock. You're like, okay, guys, I'll have to leave, or I'm gonna just have to light the candles now, and they're just all gonna be like, "What are you doing?" You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's yeah. Oh,
And I think
but unless maybe he says you can have exceptions to the rule. You know, I don't know. Give us
yeah,
some
yeah.
more guidance, oh guru.
But that is such a good point, Mary, because this is the thing with like porn addiction is there's already enough, you know, stigma and shame around
Yeah,
porn, and obviously
yeah,
we're doing our best to sort of change that, and you know, sharing some of our client stories has helped a lot of people, and we've got like the Remember Letters booklet, and you know, we have our group calls as well inside the Beyond Compulsion Academy where we all come together and sort of talk
yeah,
through what's going on with the addictive part of the mind and expose it. But like, if you're kind of on this trajectory by following maybe the more no fappy kind of content out there online, the motivational sort of Spartan mode esque advice, well, most of that content is just going to reinforce feelings of shame, really, on some level, because it's like, why would anyone who is good to like do any of these extreme things? Like, it's not
yeah,
normal behavior to light candles at 9 p.m. and turn your lights off. It's not normal behavior to like go on this like Superman mission Spartan mode like journey to try and like change your life. Like, it's just like too extreme. And if you know you're into self-improvement, great, like so am I freaking love it. But for porn addiction in particular, you know, reasonable engagement at reasonable times with all behaviors across your life.
yeah,
Otherwise you're going to end up developing a compulsion to all these weird different habits. You're going
yeah,
to be feeling like you've got to have a certain routine, and it's going to be so unsustainable as well. And then you just obviously going to relapse because, one, your lifestyle is just kind of shit and weird, and you
yeah.
know, it's very impractical to actually have friends or have a partner or you know, just live your life because you've got all these weird restrictions. And two, you're completely missing the point anyway, because none of this stuff has anything to do with actually dealing with desires in that moment
Yeah.
when you have the urge.
Well, the other thing too is like so many, I mean, almost all the guys, one of the consequences of being stuck in a porn addiction is they're like antisocial. They're isolated. They're just just doing their thing, and they don't even want to go out and be social because they feel so awkward and self-conscious. They have no confidence and all of that. So now you can start doing all these incredibly weird things, regimented weird things like throughout your whole entire day. You're all set, no entertainment. You know, you got to be the sun. You got to go to the gym twice. All these things. Now your friends are going to be going, okay, yeah, you know, Tom's a nice guy, but you know, the wheel's still turning, but the squirrel's dead. I don't want this guy as my friend anymore. And you're gonna lose your friends. And they're just gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna call the men with the white coats to go check on Tom, you know? It's so
Yeah, yeah.
bizarre. Bizarro. I love this though. It's really entertaining. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember this time when I was living. I've shared this on the podcast before a bit, but maybe like some of the earlier episodes. It might have been even before we met, but
Yeah.
well, this was, yeah, like the story is way before we met, because the story is from about 5 years ago. It was 2020, living in Portugal, and I was so deep in the kind of no fap self improvement world. I was doing like 400 or 500 push ups every day. I was meditating for like an hour
Wow.
every day, journaling every day, going to sleep at like a regimented time. And I was in this house with 4 other people. One of them was from Chile, and he was this little guy, probably about 5'5". He was quite charismatic, but he annoyed the hell out of me. He was always playing the guitar. He didn't use like soap for some weird reason, and he always had like some plastic covering his phone because he believed like the FBI would be listening to his conversations. And he was like proper extreme end sort of hipster, like traveler kind of guy. And we were up in the mountains at the time. So he kind of attracted those kind of people, but he was quite nice. But anyway, I was really into a girl at the time, but I was doing NoFap, and I was also doing this thing called semen retention. I was trying to reach 90 days back then. And I remember being on day 82 because I had like a counter, and I was, just spending all my time sort of doing self-improvement shit. And this little Chilean guy was up late with this girl that I really liked called Danny. And we were having like a bit of a party in this house, but I like turned in really early. I was like, guys, like it was probably like a Friday night or something, but I was like, guys, like I'm going to go to sleep now. And it was like 10 o'clock at night. So I go to sleep at like 10, but I'm just in my room because I had this regimented, routine. So I'm in my room, and I hear this little like 5'4" like Chilean dude, like super hipster guy, just like trying it on with this Danny girl that I was really into. And lo and behold, they end up like going and having sex. And I knew about this because I could hear like some of the stuff they were saying, like they were flirting so much. And then she stayed around, she was there in the morning. And like I wake up, I'm just like, oh my God, like shit, like this girl I was really, really into, I've just kind of lost out completely on like what could have been, I suppose. I mean, in hindsight, I don't really care either way, right? But like, look, at the time anyway, I was pretty like gutted about it. Like this girl I was really into is just gone and had sex with this guy just because he didn't have any of these crazy routines or regimens. I mean, he was weird in other ways, sure, but he just kind of he's living his life, up in the evening, party, yeah, sure, have some fun, have a good time, whatever. Whereas I'm so deep in my porn addiction, I'm trying all this crazy shit, and then I end up missing out on quite a lot of like memories and moments. And not to put like sex on a pedestal or anything, because it doesn't really matter, but it's just more the principle of you're going to miss out on shit in life if you have too many rules and restrictions, conditions, and it's no way to live, and it's not sustainable. And me nowadays, just having the freedom, the spontaneity to do what you want when you want and not have any rules in place is just so liberating. It really is. And that's possible for anyone. Anyone who wants to solve a porn addiction can do that without any rules, any conditions at all, which is pretty cool. All you really need is a way to deal with the desires, and that's all it is.
Yeah, you're like, sorry, I got a dip, lights out, 9 o'clock, going into Spartan mode. Okay, you can have the girl because I got to go.
That was me. That was literally me. Like, it's so insane. So and then the funny thing is, like a few days later, I went and relapsed anyway. I remember it very well. I was on Instagram scrolling. I went and relapsed, and then I told the girl Danny, I was like, yeah, I've relapsed now. And I was like, oh fuck, and then nothing ever happens. But there we go, right? This is the path that people can choose if they want to.
That's right.
Or you can escape that path and learn how to be in control of yourself. So let's go for another one. Eliminate sugar.
Cut out all sugar and sweeteners. So this is refined sugar, honey, date syrup, or whatever artificial sweeteners, whatever healthy sweeteners. Cut out all sweeteners and all sweet things in your food, apart from whole fruit. Sugar is incredibly bad for you, really bad for your metabolic health, but also the sweetness in artificially sweetened foods is a hyperstimulant. It's one of those quick spike of dopamine type things. And that is the thing that we want to wean our brain off of. We want to untrain our brain from wanting that kind of reward. So that's why we're cutting out sugar as well.
Okay. What does that have to do with porn addiction again? Remind me.
It's interesting about the last sentence you said there as well, but like untraining, was it training your brain from not wanting the reward or something like that? He's talking about
training your brain to not want it, or I don't know. It's silly. I can't. Yeah.
Well, that's what I think the whole premise is about, is like, how do we remove this wanting by having our brain function in the most effective way possible? So we're going to eliminate the sugar to change, our metabolism or whatever, and get our like brain at like peak health. because somehow that's going to eliminate the desires without acknowledging that the desires come from your thinking and your neural
Yeah.
pathways and what's going on there, and doesn't really have anything to do with your brain health.
I should go and throw away the Kit Kats that are in my freezer. Because it's, the thing is like I have Kit Kats in my freezer always. You can ask my son when he comes home, he'll go get a Kit Kat out of the freezer. They're always in there. And we have like one slice of the wafer, it's just like a sweet snack. And never once have I ever thought anything about relating that Kit Kat to dopamine spikes or, oh yeah, I'm going to go in the freezer and get my dopamine spike or whatever, or I shouldn't do that because I want to train my brain to not be, I don't feel any different after eating a Kit Kat, a piece of a Kit Kat. Like it would never even compute in any way. But, again, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what's going to stick, all the sugar crap is all trendy. So now let's try to apply that to porn addiction as well, because people get addicted to sugar or what. I don't fucking know, Tom.
Yeah. I think the other thing is like something we're so passionate about inside Beyond Compulsion Academy is training people to think in a way where they actually know what is reasonable and what is unreasonable for themselves.
Yeah.
And the whole thing with sugar is like, you will know if you're eating too much sugar or not. You don't need some random bold guy on the internet to tell you you've had too much sugar. Like, if you eat too much sugar, you feel like shit. Like, we all know that.
Yeah. And we know it's like one of the worst things for like joint health. And, just too much of anything is probably going to be bad. Even if it's, you're just eating, nothing but kale, that's probably going to be bad. It's just like reasonable foods at reasonable times. And what is he talking about? Healthy sweeteners? What? Sugar cane. If you want to sweeten something, why would you look anywhere other than sugar or honey? I don't ever use honey. I'm not a big honey person. I know it's good for you or whatever. Or as far as like being like local, you're supposed to eat like local honey, something to do
We
with
don't
it.
even need to go there, Mary. We're getting off that. If we
Hey,
start
I'm
analysing
trying
honey,
to act like I know something about this shit. Okay, Tom, leave me alone.
we don't need to though. Like, that's the thing, is we don't need to care about sugar or honey, artificial sweeteners, healthy sweeteners, because it's got nothing to do with our work, and our work is helping
Hawaiian
people.
kids used to like go get the sugar canes and just eat like from the sugar cane. It's like, yeah, it's just so, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to pretend to know anything about it. I'm done. Because
We don't need to. We don't need to do our job.
I don't know anything about it. I know if I want something to be sweeter, I'm going to use sugar. And it's white.
Yeah.
Oh my God, don't eat anything white. There's a diet that says don't eat anything white. Okay, whatever.
All right, let's go on to the next one anyway.
Let's go.
Cut out processed foods. In Spartan Mode, you eat whole foods only, which basically means you don't eat things that have a nutrition information packaging label and an ingredients list.
Okay. Same bullshit, different, different words. Different. Now we're talking about just the foods, not just the sugar or whatever, And hey, sometimes you got to buy things that have a label, it's different things have a label, it's like you got to buy some pasta I don't know where he's going to find all this whole food constantly, but that sounds like another full-time job. I mean, I don't know. It's just stupid. Stupid. Move on to the next one.
All right. So, on this, the next one's right. So we've kind of gone through some of the more lifestyle changes at this point. There were more, and we'll have like an overview of the 14 things that he provides as advice at the end of this video. But the next ones are more to do with like supplements and nutrition and what to consume for brain healing.
Is he selling stuff? Is he selling supplements? Yeah.
I don't think he is. I don't think so, because I had a look in the description. I couldn't see any links to like magnesium tablets or whatever. But maybe there is something inside his program or elsewhere. I don't really know is the truth. But yeah, let's click on a few of these and we'll get into that as well.
And finally, number 14, there's some supplementation you can add that makes all of this even more effective. Starting with magnesium, ideally in the forms of magnesium chloride and magnesium glycinate. Take 400 to 700 milligrams of that per day as a supplement. That's going to be hugely beneficial to loads of processes, including the brain healing process.
Yeah, that's good. The thing is magnesium's good to take, and I know that it helps with a lot of things, and I know also, so I do know something. I know that because the soil's so fucked because of the Roundup that there's less magnesium in the soil. So normal foods that have magnesium content have way less magnesium. So that's a good supplement to have. But you know, I don't know. I need supplements, and I have a hard time continuing to take them because I don't know. I'm just lame about it. But I don't feel compelled to act out in an addiction because I'm low in magnesium.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had blood tests a couple years ago. They found out that I was low in my B12, right? So I try to take my B12 supplements, but I don't feel good a lot of the time, and I should take the supplements, but I never feel like I want to act out in an addictive behavior because of my not having enough magnesium or B12 or
Well,
whatever, you know?
that's the thing, isn't it? Is like what we've got in society today is if anyone feels unwell in any way, it's like, okay, here's this product. Like it's
Yes.
not okay for you to feel not okay. Like that's how our capitalist culture is set up right now. And that
Yeah.
has to be taken into account to some extent. I
Yeah.
mean, look, knowing that isn't going to help you solve your porn addiction, sure, but you've got to look at the context of the society. And like right now, people are just pushing and selling their products to try and cure pain, which really isn't bad pain. Like that sounds weird, but like being comfortable with being uncomfortable is such a freaking superpower. Like you kind of, if you really want to live like a sustainable, healthy, good life and stop engaging in compulsive behaviors, you're gonna have to be okay with willingly accepting some temporary discomfort. That's
Yeah.
like a massive part of the script is experiencing that and being okay with that. And life isn't always, sunshine and rainbows, as they say. Like you're gonna have shit days sometimes, but you don't need
Yeah.
to take all these supplements to like change your brain health or whatever. It's just part of
That's why
life.
I thought he was probably selling supplements because so many people they're connected, they're sponsor for, whatever supplements and supplements can be extremely expensive.
Yeah, 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 for
Yeah.
sure. You're right, and he might be. I don't know, but yeah, let's go on to another supplement.
Next, lion's mane, which is a mushroom. If you can find it, you can buy it fresh and cook it. It's a tasty mushroom, but usually you find it in powdered form in capsules or something like that. And you want to take between 1 and 3 grams per day of lion's mane. It is incredibly good for your brain, which is already backed up by a decent number of studies.
I feel like there's some merit to some of these theories, and like they're good for your body, to find some rare mushroom. I've never seen a hairy, weird looking mushroom like that at my grocery store. But, I'm sure a lot of those things could make you feel better physically. But feeling better physically is not going to change an addicted neural pathway. You're not,
Yeah, yeah,
you're not engaging in compulsive behaviors because you have inflammation.
mm,
It's not. Maybe he should just change his channel to be. Is his channel specifically for overcoming porn addiction?
yeah,
Healing. Yeah, yeah. So okay, yeah, he should change his channel to
mm.
many, many, many different ways to do something. I'm not sure what. Not
Maybe
use your
like
screen at night. Don't
feel.
entertain yourself. Take a bunch of supplements. All of the above. Heal it to heal because he's a healer, right? Yeah, to heal something.
But
I don't
heal,
know what.
yeah, heal from what? Like
Yeah,
this is the
anything,
thing, isn't
anything,
it? Like,
anything, and everything you need to heal from.
yeah,
This is the channel for you. But
yeah. You
but
know how
if you have a
often you
porn addiction, it's not going to help you.
No, for
Yeah,
real. You know how
yeah,
often you said like people are just like throwing shit at the wall? I find this next
yeah,
clip particularly like it particularly resonates with that because
yeah.
he's just talked about lion's mane, right? And this is like a mushroom and whatever. And then the next clip's so funny because it's almost like he just follows on from that and he's like, okay, I've had another idea. I'm just going to throw this one into the video as well. So let's play
Okay,
this next clip
yeah.
here.
Speaking of mushrooms, in general, it's a good idea to include mushrooms in your diet. So portobello, oyster mushrooms, shiitake, whatever you can get, All of these mushrooms are generally good brain food and generally really, really healthy sources of nutrition. So make sure to include them in a couple of meals per week.
Okay. Good thing I made Hungarian mushroom soup last night. Because then if, well, I don't have a porn addiction, but if I did, that would help. I think he's getting at that maybe if you have an addiction, your brain is unhealthy. So you want your brain to be more healthy, amino acids, omega-3 fatty acids, all that, whatever stuff, foods that are good for your brain. But the thing is it's not the brain health that is the problem with addiction. It's wired neural pathways from wanting to do it to acting on it that are formed at a very young age, especially with porn addiction and food addiction also very, very, I like to call it food compulsion, but because obviously we need to eat, but formed at a very young age. So what was your brain like when you were 10 years old? Was your brain super unhealthy? You were, low in all these different kind of nutrients that you're supposed to be getting. And, I don't know. I don't know that many kids that want to eat a whole bunch of mushrooms.
No, exactly. And
I
the
mean,
next
some
one's
do,
some
but,
more.
yeah.
We've got more food advice for you. Let's play
Oh,
the next
good.
two.
Perfect.
On a similar note, blueberries and other dark berries are extremely healthful and are one of the few foods that really deserve the label superfood. So make sure you include blueberries and other dark berries in your diet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Blueberries are supposedly super nutrient dense and very good for you. They're also good fiber. They're good for your digestion. That's cool if you have digestive problems, And I had a blueberry bush in my yard and it died. I think it was my damn neighbor's landscaper poisoned it. But yeah, I love blueberries, organic blueberries, but I don't know what that has to do with porn addiction.
Too right. The next one's funny because if you just look at it like in isolation and you just go, okay, so got a porn addiction, what's the solution? Have some watercress. Like, if you just look at it like that, it's like, what are you actually on about? Like, it just makes no sense. So let's play the next clip.
Yeah,
All right?
yeah.
Final recommendation like this is cruciferous vegetables. That's things like kale, broccoli, watercress, and more. These are anti-inflammatory, which is good for the healing process, and they're generally great sources of micronutrients as well.
Kale is like, people look like cows. You know how they chew their cud, chew and chew and chew and chew. That stuff's so chewy, man. I love broccoli though. Watercress, yeah, okay, good.
You have a tender stem broccoli over there? Do you know tender stem broccoli? Or purple
No, is that like
sprouting broccoli?
broccolini, the long skinny part?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Well, we call
I
it
like
tender
that. I
stem
like
broccoli.
broccolini for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what's
Maybe it's the
watercress? I
same
was
thing.
thinking watercress was something else. That looked like some sprouts he had there.
Watercress is like that kind of plant-like thing. I feel like we might have used it as something to grow when we were in like year 3 at school here. So when you're about like 10 years old, it might have been one of the plants that you put in your classroom to grow and you like get to look after a plant for a bit. But in
Well,
terms
you
of
should
porn
have eaten
addiction,
it.
yeah, I have no
You should
idea.
have eaten it because didn't you get stuck in your porn addiction when you were 10? You should have eaten that
God,
watercress in your classroom at school.
would have saved me 10 years of addiction if I'd
Right.
have just ate that plant. Oh, Jesus. Right.
Okay.
Okay. Final couple of clips then. Let's play
Okay.
this one. I can't remember what this is about.
Next up, it's probably a good idea to include some fish oil or some other omega-3 fatty acid source, possibly as a supplement. And other supplements that could be worth experimenting with are ginkgo biloba and black seed oil or Nigella sativa. And if you want to take this a step further, get a full extensive blood panel done to see if you have any specific deficiencies, and then seek to adjust your diet first and your supplementation second to address those shortcomings. Because again, your physical health, your metabolic health makes a huge difference to how fast or how slow the healing process actually goes.
Mm-hmm. So you got to get healed. Maybe maybe we just need to go to one of those like healer people, and I don't know. This is completely off base. He hasn't said anything about porn addiction though.
Right, let's play this final clip and maybe
Okay.
we'll talk about
Yeah.
it there.
So this is the protocol, and the Spartan challenge is to do all of this
Okay.
every single day for at least 30 days.
Wow.
Did you see at the top? Yeah. So
Yep,
it
I
was
saw it.
quit
Yep,
porn.
this is to quit porn. Yep. Okay. Well, there
Yeah.
you go, man. Well, that seemed like a full-time job for sure to keep track of all of that and do all of that every single day for 30 days. Woo! And then you haven't changed your neural pathways, so now you're going to relapse and intermittently
Mm.
reinforce the behavior. So then what? Then you're going to go on it another 30 days or something. Yeah. Well, is he helping
Yeah.
anybody?
I don't know. I mean, I think I told you last night, but I went into his like sales funnel page thing, and like one of the
Yeah.
guys in there, like one of the best results he had was like just someone writing in there like 6 months free from porn. And weirdly enough, it was one of our clients. And I was like,
Right.
what the
Yes.
hell?
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah. And what
believe it
you
because I saw
asked
his
him about it?
name.
What did he say? I can't remember.
He said that it was bullshit and that he wasn't
Okay.
really like free from porn use in those 6 months. But I don't know. I think he's
Yeah.
on
He was
some
probably,
streak of like
trying
free
to
from dating.
motivate himself and encourage himself, like, oh, yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Just like all the guys do in the NoFap community. Oh, yeah, look at me. I'm going on a streak. I did this much. And then relapse, relapse, relapse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
100%. But this video, it was titled, it did have porn in the title somewhere, I'm pretty sure. It was
Okay.
like, this is going to be like Spartan Mode, 30-day challenge. We're going to, stop watching porn. And if you go to his YouTube channel, it is all about porn addiction recovery and healing
Okay.
porn addiction. I think it's worth pointing out, actually, because we didn't really get it across too much, but in other bits of that video that I've not clipped today, he does include some sources from various like PhD experts, different books, who are talking about brain functioning and improving maybe your mental health in a variety of ways. And that's what he's done, is he's extrapolated that information from all these different experts and then conjured up this list of information to try and help people with porn addiction,
Mm-hmm.
based on the premise that porn addiction is being caused by poor mental health in some way. But that isn't true. It's the porn addiction which is causing the poor mental health. I think that's the
Right.
main thing to get across here, is that if you're struggling with a porn addiction, this will be the number one problem in your life 99% of the time. And you don't need to go and improve every area of your life, because if you just solve the porn addiction, then chances are things are going to work out pretty well, because you're actually going to be in control of yourself, especially if you do it in the
Yeah.
right way. So
Yeah.
I think that's the
Yeah.
key
And then if
takeaway.
you're in control of, choices that you make in your life, and then you feel like, oh, well, I have some inflammation, then maybe you are more in control of the choices that you make with the food that you eat based on how you hope your body will react in a physical way, or any of the other things as well. Maybe if you don't go on your screen after 9 o'clock at night and you light candles, maybe that's going to be a nice thing for you. And maybe that's going to make you feel better or sleep better or whatever. But the thing is has really, again, nothing to do with overcoming addiction. But you made the really great comparison. It's not just porn addiction, it's all addictions that they say, oh, this is a mental health problem. You need to do all this healing in every area of your life. And then you're not going to want to do this addiction anymore, rather than it's the addiction that is causing all these mental health issues. Yeah. Or the untreated
Yeah.
addiction. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've heard this time and time again from guys who have just been on the hamster wheel of trying to improve their life whilst being in the addiction, and just feeling like they're going round in circles for like years and years, and often even decades for some of the guys we've worked with. So we know this pattern well. We've heard the stories, right? So
Yes.
yeah, hopefully this can offer some relief to anyone who's kind of been stuck in that self-improvement-y cycle, trying to deal with porn addiction by like going to the gym all the time or eating healthy foods. It's probably not going to work really. And yeah, if you want to learn more about the Beyond Compulsion method, head over to beyondcompulsionacademy.com. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.